Hello. Of course, Stream Deck decided not to work. What are we doing? I feel like my Stream Deck has been struggling connecting this lately. This is frustrating. I should turn on browser. Alright, let's just restart Stream Deck. Now, so while that's happening, we are going to be working on Tauri again today. And we're going to continue playing around with the app that we were working on the past few days. Let's see if this works now. There we go. We have an app that should be pushed up in current. It seems like it is. Drop that in the chat here. The idea behind this app is that you can click a button on the main window, and it opens up a second window. And you can use that window that has no window decorations or anything around it. It's just a single color to put it over the top of parts of your screen. So when you're taking a screenshot, it's like pre-redacted, basically. Part of it is this is a nice way to demo all the window functionality in Tauri, but also it's kind of, I think it's kind of a cool thing. We will go ahead and get the process started here. npm run Tauri dev. So in both the main window and all the second, well, the multiple windows that you can open up, the decorations are set to false. And that is a configuration option. I believe it's in window decorations, false. The default is true. And what this is doing is it's changing the border, or the thing that wraps the window that gives you the native controls. You can look at my browser window up here. I've got the X and this control. These are native to that window, and they're doing like native Windows functionality. We turned it off here, and we did that because we wanted to be able to turn on transparency. Still milking a cough a little bit here. I'll try to hit that mute button with good timing. Unfortunately, this is Mac private OS or private API. But that's not a big deal for what we're looking to do with this. What that enables, though, then is we can do this, and this whole indication of a window can actually adopt the same exact color and transparency, which is sort of nifty. But it means we don't have window controls now. So if we're actually starting this, like I can close this window by killing the process. I don't have a way to do that once we would ship this. So if you have this installed on your system, there's not a good way to close it other than like going down to the taskbar or the process manager and killing it that way. So we want to add window controls, and we need to do that in the actual web view itself. And there's other things like the I don't really have any apps that have them open. I guess here there's this menu, which is kind of like a file menu. Those are other options that we might potentially want to look at doing as well. Because we don't have like the in Windows, there's the default like file, edit, view, help menu. So we don't have any of that. So we want to add it for sure. We want to at least add a close button, and then we can kind of go from there. I think we're going to end up using very similar APIs to what we have been using for the other windows. Just rather than calling it in like a React script, we're going to be putting it in our like top nav essentially. So let's I guess I don't have VS Code open at the moment, so let's go ahead and open that. We'll bump up our text size here a little bit. Start the process, up again, and make this a little bit bigger. So most of our code right now is in the app.jsx. I think as part of this, we'll split it out quick. We do have like a, if it lets me select it, come on, it's still, Rust Analyzer is doing its thing, so yeah, it's lagging. We have a top nav already. We have a nav section, which we'll probably end up replacing that, I think. Here we go. I think what we do is we end up making like a top nav, and then this should in turn become a section. I think that's better representative of what it actually is. And I think we actually pull this out. This feels like a good thing to pull out. There's also this data attribute. Adding that flag is the way to indicate to the Tauri builder and such that the native Drag controls work on that, on whatever that element is. So here we have a footer. I can click anywhere within that footer and I get the drag functionality. If we look at the dev tools via the inspect, we can see our footer is that whole bottom section and our nav is that whole top section. Clicking the button doesn't really make sense as a drag target, but this top section and the bottom section do, at least in this specific case. So let's put out this into a separate file. I guess we call it maybe window creation.jsx. We've got a bunch in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy and paste this whole thing. And then snip this piece out because we want effectively just that section. And all of our other logic here is tied to that as well. We don't need the Preact logo anymore. I think I'm going to rely on the app CSS. Where's the style CSS? So main is where it comes. Okay, so that's the top level. App is that. I don't even really need that anywhere. I think I'm gonna just leave it in the top, in the root though. App.jsx, and we need to import it then. So we're not gonna need. We're using Preact. I want to say we need to do import H from Preact at the top of all of these. And it was actually working in window creation. What is this was window creation. I think we still need it, so I'm gonna just add it there. All right, let's import. What are we going to call this? Export function window creation. We're going to import that from window creation. .jsx. And let's start cutting this up. So we don't need any of this logic, which is now in our other component. So we can return this is sort of going to be like our top level page, and we can kind of build up our page from here. I think I'm just gonna leave this section here. This doesn't feel like it makes sense to split out. And we actually do need to change. I think I had that specifically for nav. Let's change that real quick. So that's going to bug me. Nav background color. We are overwriting the background color, so I think this kind of just becomes a default. That feels like it makes sense to me. We still do need the fragment because we're going to not have a containing element for this, but this whole section here, this can get removed. We're going to keep our footer. I don't think we need to put anything in it, but the footer is mostly going to be serving as just an additional drag target. And then we do this. So that should give us all of that functionality that we had. Now we're not getting the state. The state seems to not be coming through properly. So this is a section we're doing Windows map. Button section. We are calling a accidentally pasted. We're calling a create window, which does that. So we should be modifying our state, of which we're doing use state from preact hooks. Maybe we don't need this import h. I thought we did. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that it's goofing it up. Oh well, I mean, it works. I'm not going to bother looking up in the docs. There we go. So we got that split out. And now I think we make our nav component. So let's do a new file. What do we call it? I guess window controls. .jsx. And we're just gonna grab this because it's easy. We're probably gonna need. Well, no, we don't need that. That is a component. Export function window controls nav, I guess. And we just need to return one component, and we can do this. Master Fox, nice to have you. How are you doing today? And let's go ahead and import that from window controls.jsx. And now that should allow us to do this. Presuming I don't typo that. There we go. So that should give us now a top nav. So what we're doing today, to catch you up, Master Fox, we are working with the Tauri app. We have a main WebView window with all the controls, the native controls turned off, and now we need to add back that functionality into the WebView itself so we can actually close the window. And probably minimize, maximize might be additional options that we want to add in there too. So we just added a nav component, or a nav, nav component, in which we can start adding these controls. Leave the drag region on there. I think we're gonna want to do a flexbox thing here for different components. Do I have a? Can I copy that? I bet you I can copy and paste a little bit off of my own personal website to speed this up a little bit. So I happen to be using Tailwind on here, so we'll have to convert a little bit of the utility classes into just the CSS that we're using. But that's not a big deal. Header. You're from Spain. Oh, nice to have you. I will try to speak as understandably as possible. Accents and whatnot, I'm sure don't help with that. Whereabouts in Spain are you from? I have been to Madrid. Barcelona? Nice. I hear that's a pretty wonderful place. That's on my to visit list eventually. Maybe when the kids are older, we'll take a trip over there. Sounds like it's a beautiful area. Okay, so we've got this hamburger. Oh, items. Open menu, close menu, logo, items. So I guess I just do a bunch of links. Maybe we just put a bunch of things in here. We'll just start out with divs and we'll just write them down and then we can work from there. So we want a minimize. We want a close. We want to maximize. What else would we want to do with our window? I think this is probably the big ones. And this is I think we make another CSS file rather than stuffing it all in our style.css. So we'll do window controls.jsx. No, .css rather. Let's close a couple of these windows. App. Okay. I opened the wrong window. We don't want window control creation. We want window controls. Okay, so we got a bunch of divs. They might end up being buttons. But I think what we want to focus on right now is the nav. What should we call it? Class top nav, maybe? No, window controls. That feels appropriate. So we can do nav.window controls. HTML element dot class is going to target specifically just this. We can do display is flex, and that should start giving us some flex box stuff going on here. We want do not refresh. Yeah, class container. Oh, I didn't save. Ha. There we go. So now they're up on the top. And they're stacked. So what we want to do is let's go ahead and open up that CSS tricks article. CSS tricks Flexbox. If you're ever doing Flex, this article is super nice. Why Tauri over Electron? Specifically in my situation, I'm part of the Tauri core and on the Tauri board, so I have interest in working with it. I mean, there's multiple reasons to use Tauri versus Electron. Some of it is objective, some of it is subjective, meaning I think there's things that are potentially better to be done with Tauri over Electron, and potentially vice versa. Electron's been around longer. It's got a bigger. I'd presume that the community is bigger, and the documentation just from people working with it and asking questions and whatnot is probably deeper. But the architecture of Tauri is really interesting because Tauri, the backend, it is written in Rust, and it doesn't run a local host to do the communication between the backend and the front end and WebView. And the WebView can be written in effectively anything as long as it can end up producing HTML and CSS and JS and theoretically WASM. So anything that the WebView can support, the Tauri app should be able to support. So you can do something like write a site or write a app using U, which is a Rust framework to create a WASM file, which can be served in the WebView. And you could actually end up writing your whole app in Rust if that's something that you would like to do. And from that, there's plans to make other bindings as well if you don't want to try to get involved in Rust, which isn't, I mean, you know, that's a choice. I like Rust. I would prefer to actually use it. But that's not everybody's cup of tea, which I understand. So I think just the nature of the architecture lends a lot of flexibility. So I'm interested to see where that goes over the long term. But for this specific use case, mostly just exploring the different functionality and working with the windows and whatnot in Tauri and trying to make sure we don't have any gaps in the documentation and whatnot, and just kind of playing around and having fun with it. So, make sense? Yeah, sorry, and I might be talking fast too. That I'm sure that doesn't help. All right, so we've got our divs, we've got a display flex. Oh yeah, we were going to the CSS tricks article. So we want to do a flex container, which is what we have, and there's flex direction. We can set it at row or column, or I guess the default is row. But we don't really need it to wrap. And I think we want flex row and flex grow is potentially what we're looking at. So let's do. We'll set the flex direction to be specifically row, even though I think that's the default and it shouldn't make a difference. And if I'm getting my CSS right here, nav, that little caret greater than symbol should say any components under nav with a div, which we might need to change later. What does it say? selector specificity, you can see a div nested within a nav. I don't know if that's going to get all of the divs, but we'll have to try that. So any divs nested in a nav, we want them to be flex grow, I guess. Suspect we might end up flexing or setting more things, so maybe we just start with flex auto. We'll see what that gives us. I don't know that this is actually refreshing. Did we import the no, we didn't import. That would be another reason that we're not seeing import window controls.css. I think that's how we do it on the other ones, right? Import, yep. There we go. So now they should mostly stick on the top, and we want them to actually be on the right side there. Maybe the nav needed the question mark. Maybe the nav need with the question. I'm not sure what you're asking there. Although you did say never mind, so maybe we cleared it up. We do want to, on Windows, it's shifted to the right. We're just going to work with Windows for the moment, and then we can potentially make it work for more of the Mac expectation. So flex end, I believe, is what we want to do. Justify content. And flex end is what we want. This did not. You like my terminal? Do you have a video explanation on how to configure it? Are you on Windows? Because that's going to sort of dictate the answer to that question. Okay. So there's a bunch of things going on with this. I don't have a video tutorial, but that would actually be very interesting. I feel like there's a lot of explanation behind setting up a Mac and iTerm 2 and all that jazz. But I feel like Windows is a little bit less common. So I like that idea. I'm gonna make a mental note of that and come back to it. But we have a few things going on, and there's a few things that go into the terminal shell dev environment, I guess you could say. So I am my terminal, which is like the main window, is Windows Terminal, which I believe now in Windows 11 is the default. Oh, here's the GitHub page. The previous versions and previous apps that I've used as a terminal were not awful, and they got better over the years, but this one is very good. I really like this. They look for these videos and they can help you grow. Yeah, I definitely I think I'm gonna end up making that video. That is a very good idea. So Windows Terminal is the terminal. There's also a shell. And in this case, in Windows Terminal, you can configure shells. I've got multiple shells configured to actually work with this. Bash you can get from installing Git. PowerShell comes just generally with the Windows install. Those are two of the more common Windows ones that I've seen used. You can also set up WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, and that gets you a whole Linux environment, and it comes with all the shells and whatnot that are in your Linux in this instance. But I'm actually using new shell. New shell. Here, we'll drop some links here quick. New shell is a little bit more on the experimental side. It has become more stable more recently. So I don't know if I would necessarily suggest this as a beginner thing to use. But it has some nice features, particularly around how it does piping and whatnot. Where would be a good example? Like this kind of stuff. So that vertical line, that's called a pipe. Or another word for it is called a pipe. And it has like built-in formatting in these tables and like a built-in fetch implementation and some data. Speaks JSON, YAML, SQLite, Excel, etc., etc. Generally, I would recommend Bash or PowerShell for new users, and both of those are pretty. They kind of come out of the box in Windows. You know, you pretty much end up having to install Git to do dev work. So I would say Bash through Git sort of comes with the territory. But if you're looking to expand into other options out there, this is a good one. And this also works on Linux and Mac. So if you use this and you get used to it on Windows, and you end up getting one of those other computers at a different point in the future, it works the same on all three of them, which is really nifty. And then on top of that, I also use Starship.rs, which is a a shell prompt. There we go. And that's what's doing this. I've got it customized a little bit, so it's outputting the version of JavaScript I'm using and the version of NPM that I'm using, as well as based on my folder structure. My folders are structured the same as if they're on GitHub. So like this gives me an easy link and it makes it hopefully helpful for those viewing and pairing with and streaming where they might want to or be able to look at this code. So those three things, plus in Windows Terminal, you can customize the colors. Where would be a good? And appearance? Yeah, terminal colors. And I grabbed a theme that matches what is that theme? I'm blanking. I don't know. Night Owl. It is a theme that Sarah Drasner put together for VS Code, and I really like it. She did a great job with VS Code. No, not Night Owl Light. So I use this both in VS Code and in my terminal, which I like, but also sometimes it's hard to see where my VS Code starts and my terminal ends. But you can see, like, if I go to PowerShell, I've got those. The colors are configured different. So as I'm using it, and I'm switching between shells, if occasionally there's a feature in Bash that I need that isn't available in a new shell, and I'll have to switch. So I actually have them colored slightly different, so it is easier for me to distinguish when I'm in a different shell. Okay. Back to this. So we've got our buttons up at the top. We could probably do a little bit more of the CSS, but let's wire them up real quick here so we can at least get the functionality working, and then we can go from there. You're welcome. You're welcome. I am happy to answer questions. I think we want to look at the JavaScript API, and we're specifically interested in the window functionality, which we have been working with the past couple streams. And I don't know this is actually going to end up helping us too much here. Because we need a I mean, honestly, I'm perfectly fine digressing. The having a thing to do and a project to do is nice, because then it feels like there's something that we're working towards. But I'm happy to go off topic, especially if it's something that's going to be helpful for you. I'm here every week, so if we don't finish it today, we'll get it next week. Well, every week besides vacation and whatnot. November and December, we get into a lot of vacation time, which I'm looking forward to. Oh, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. Okay. Buttons. We have done some window controls already in our window creation, so I think we can yoink some of that logic here. We need a handle to the web view. And then it's going to give us the options to do things on the web view itself. It's like a pat each other on the back kind of situation. Internet high fives. Okay. So we need a handle. We can grab the handle based off of the window name or the window ID. But there's also this get current, I guess. It's an instance as a web view window for the current web view window. I think that's going to be the one that we want to use in this case. So we should do import. We'll say from Tauri apps API /window. And hopefully this helps us out a little bit here. We want, I think we do app window. App window. I always said enter instead of tab. Yeah, so this is giving us web view window already. So I think we could then do web view. I tend to name these my variables window, but that's not helpful because we have a window object already in our DOM. So we end up like blitzing our DOM window, which is not what we want to do. So web view. Oh, we could just call app window. Get an instance. So there's get. Current monitor. Available monitors. I thought we would want to do. Oh. It's a variable. So maybe we don't want to do app window. Is there a get current? Yeah, let's try get current. Get current. So now that should be a window dot or web view. Web view dot. There we go. So we have center, close, emit, hide. Hide would be like minimize. And we're gonna want to do events sort of like we did with the other thing. So I think I'm gonna end up converting these to buttons. I should actually do button. Go to the gym, but you'll stop by more often. I see your videos on YouTube. Simulacrum and React Flow there. Nice. That simulacrum and React Flow videos. I made that a while ago. Hopefully, I try to stay up to date with my streams, getting my streams up on YouTube. I haven't gotten any on this one up yet, but I'll probably work on trying to get one up. Well, I'll work on it today. They take a while to process because they're big, so it might end up going over the weekend or something. But I've got, after this one today, I'll have 3 videos on this that I need to get up. So hopefully I get to that soon. Buttons. So hopefully those are helpful. I'm considering changing my approach to it and actually streaming on YouTube directly instead, and then making more targeted YouTube videos on like things that we learn in these streams. So the stream will be end up being more of a longer form behind the scenes sort of thing, where I put a thing together and then I'll have a shorter video, like a 10-minute thing that goes through the process to build what we ended up creating on the stream. So we've got buttons. They feels like my hot reloading broke. Might have to restart my. I got a really itchy nose today. Holy cow! What's going on here? Let's kill it. I feel like my hot reloading broke here or something. Okay, so we've got 3 buttons. Theoretically, they've got like a state attributed to them. Or we have like a Windows state object. But I don't think we really need to keep track of that at all, because I don't care what my Windows state is at. If I click the close button, I just want it to go away. If it's minimized, I'm not going to be able to click the close button. If it's maximized, I should be able to click the close button and it should close. So I think all we need to do is just have a few functions that, once we have the web view, I think we can keep that as a global. We do close web view equals async. Is it async? I don't know if it's async or not. Webview.close. I think we can kind of just do something like that. And ideally spell webview correctly. I'm gonna do them in order. Minimize. Maximize. Hide. And maximize. Nope. What's the button go? Nope. I always forget how to do the multiple cursors. Oh, there we go. Control-Alt. On click. And we're gonna just say a web view. And this is gonna be a minimize web view. This is going to be a maximize web view, and this one is going to be close web view. And now when we click those buttons, where is it? I lost my window. Close. Start. So have you played around with Simulacrum and or React Flow at all? Hopefully those videos were helpful. We've done a bunch more with Simulacrum since. That's Simulacrum is part of the work that I do with my employer. Where is this window? It's like not opening up. That is so weird. Let's do a build real quick, I guess. Just hopefully shake it out. Yeah, that's odd. When we do a build, we are compiling the front end. In this case, we're using Vite, so it compiles the front end. We are running a Rust compile step to bundle like the back end of it effectively, and then we're running a step that creates an executable of all of that. And that executable step is going to be slightly different per operating system because they all bundle things slightly different. Linux, of which being just there's so many distros and so many flavors of Linux, the options to bundle things on Linux are seemingly unlimited. But we're just worried about Windows, so now let's try the dev again. I don't know why my window's like disappearing. It's right there. That is weird. I mean, it's possible something I'm doing in here is. We'll do that. I don't know if putting the get current there is mucking with it or not. But that's really the only change I did. I can see it like in my taskbar. Like it's clearly opening up. And it seems to be there. Maybe not. I think it's maximized right now. So some is going funky with it. What in the heck? This is definitely the first time I've seen this. Let's clear out target folder. We're gonna get a bit of a build here. But we might need to just live with it. We'll give this a shot. Hopefully this works. Hopefully we can test out the minimize, maximize, and close real quick here. And that might end up being the end of the stream. I got a hard stop in about 10 minutes. So hopefully this compiles pretty quick here. Ish. Is there anything else that we want to do with the web view? That might be a good thing to look at while we're there's the center. We've got monitors, so we could potentially like have a button to switch between monitors, but I don't know how valuable that would be. Window manager. There's events for the window itself. I don't know that there's anything that we would care about with that. I didn't. My mute didn't work. Oh well. I tried. Seasons change here in the central US, and everybody seems to catch a cold or whatever. This one seems to have stuck around quite a while, so I'm still sneezing and coughing a bit from it. But what can you do? Oh, so we can set icon. Interesting. And we might be, we might want to do stuff with the system tray too. We could like potentially create a window from the system tray, or have from the system tray a way to like close specific windows. Set cursor position. Interesting. We can change the cursor icon. That's kind of cool. Set always on top. That might be a nice toggle to have actually. This might also be nice when we first open up a window. We can make it blink, so it hopefully is more obvious like which one opened up. Got some promises and such. On scale changed. On resize. These are a bunch of the events. I'm not sure why I started from the bottom, but I did. On close requested. Interesting. We can do a confirmation. Oh, and there's the dialog boxes too. Yeah. Let's open up that. We can look at that in a minute. Minimize, maximize. Oh. Oh, we did hide, not minimize. There's app window. Can we do we not need to do get current? Can we just do app window? I was calling it as a function. I think we actually do minimize here. I think we might be able to get rid of all of this then. That might be the easier way to do it. We can check. So is decorated would be the, if we've got like native functionality or not. It might be nice to have a toggle for that. So this is actually what I was doing before for the minimize, and I don't think that's actually what we want, because that is just straight up gonna hide it to where you can't see it. So that would be more for like a minimize to system tray kind of situation. In center of the window, that might be nice to use. We're almost at the top, and our compile is almost done. So dialog, what are our options for dialog? So we can set a bunch of the window opened again. That is kind of wild. It's almost like there's some error with the web view itself or something that is like preventing it from opening it. This weird. It'd be a bummer if that's the thing that we have to call it a day on, since we just added the functionality to do it. But if we can't see the web view, what in there is causing this issues? Web view is not defined. Oh. When did I type that? That is wicked. Wild. Okay, so we've got buttons now. If we do maximize, I mean, I've got a big screen, so you only see part of it. We probably need like a return. I can drag it back out. Minimize puts it down to the toolbar. I don't have a system tray icon, so it's not going to show up there. But I can click it in the toolbar and it comes back, and then I can get close. And it kills the process. Let's tweak our buttons a little bit, I think. I don't know if I can do... Whoop. Come on. No, this button. There we go. Minimize. Minus, I guess. Pressing the wrong button here. Max. Square, maybe? Don't know how any of these are actually going to look in the... I have no idea how these are going to look. Let's start this up real quick. And close. X. I mean, they don't look awful. The maximize button is a little bit wonky, but maybe it's better to do... I don't really know what character you'd use for a square, but it's probably, you know, like an ASCII character or something that would be better for that. Box. Square. Is there a better square that we could use? Alright, we'll just do this for right now. Yeah. This can be an M dash. I don't know what the alt code is for an N dash though. Good enough. Let's change the CSS to not grow. And we will just make it whatever size it needs to be. Where's my CSS? Here we go. Flex auto. We're going to say content, which I think is going to make it just... Did it actually change it? No. Can't remember the syntax for this. I need to get going, but let's see if we can get it working real quick. I guess just flex grow. Display flex direction wrap. Maybe I don't need anything in here at all. Let's just try this. See what that looks like. I think gap works for this. We'll say 2ems. Yeah, it's good enough for now. It's something. And drag functionality is still there because this is... Yep, I've got drag region on that top nav bar there. It works. Ship it. I mean, we can always come back and fix the CSS later and make it look nicer. And we also probably want to... Oh, okay. I saved it and it shifted it to the other side. Well, we probably want to actually have the reverse for Mac. That's going to take a little bit more. I think we would have to figure out what OS... I think we can grab the OS based on either the browser or one of the Tauri APIs. I don't know how we would do that offhand. But I think we ship this. And if anybody's interested in a PR to make that look less like this, happy to accept that. Cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. Have a happy Friday. Switch over here. I think I'm streaming next week. I don't remember. We got some vacation coming up here, so we might be streaming. We might miss a couple of Friday streams here, but I'll have a bit of free time in December, so we might do a few more streams than once a week come the vacation time. Yeah, is Peruvian around? I'm gonna raid and jet. We can let them know. We can let them know that I have a good stream. I'm not gonna stop by though because I got a meeting. So see y'all later. Bye.